Hey, it's Josephine from the Pointe shop. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona right now, and I'm fitting for Aaron Gilbert with the AG Ballet Project, and I'm fitting Olivia today, and she's only been on Pointe for less than a year, right? So you've been on Pointe for less than a year, but we're having a little bit of issues with her Vamp, and I'm going to show you exactly what's going on right now and how we're going to fix it. Okay? Can you stand up for me, Olivia? Okay. You're going to stand here right next to me, first position. So she has very tiny feet and she likes her shoes even smaller. So she wears her shoes very tight, which is actually kind of unusual for dancers that are going on Pointe. They usually like their Pointe shoes like a bedroom slipper, and I have to get them to wear their shoes a little bit tighter. But luckily, Olivia likes her shoes a little bit tighter, so it's much easier on me. There's a lot less bagginess and it looks really good. So she likes her shoes kind of like a professional. Okay, can you step up onto Pointe for me? Okay, so as you can see, Olivia has very beautiful feet. And like I said, she's been on Pointe for less than a year, so a lot of it's genetic and training. And you can see that because of the Vamp is very short right here, she's breaking her shoes quite low. And because she likes her shoes a little bit tighter, she can pop out of her shoes a little bit more. And with this particular model, this is a Grishko, what their Vamp does is that their Vamp starts out really, really short in the smaller sizes. She's in about a size 2.5 right now, so very tiny feet. So the Vamp starts out really short, and by the time you get to the bigger sizes, the Vamp gets very, very long. It doesn't really stay consistent throughout the different sizes. So because she's in a smaller size, her Vamp is going to be very short right now, and what we're going to do is we're going to switch her to a different brand, and perhaps when her feet get bigger, then we might be able to come back to this later on. So I'm going to show you just from the front here how short this Vamp is, and what happens is that her foot doesn't stay all the way inside of her shoe. It kind of pops out in front. And also, can you come down for me? So the platform right here that you see, it's quite small. So if you have a smaller platform, you have a tendency to go even further over. So what I'm going to do for Olivia today is get a wider platform so that she doesn't roll all the way over to the edge of that platform. And first position, releve. And I'm going to elongate that Vamp a little bit, but I am going to keep her in something a little bit softer so that she can continue to roll through and develop her strength. She already has a lot of great things going on for her in terms of her alignment, her ankles, her feet, everything's checking out. We just need a different shoe for her. So there's regular ribbon and there's stretchy ribbon. So this is pretty consistent with the way that she likes her shoes. For a lot of dancers that like their shoes really tight and super supportive, they like their regular ribbons a little bit better because it pulls on the Pointe shoes a little bit tighter. So even though her feet are pretty short, in comparison to the rest of her foot, her toes are pretty long. So her knuckles kind of like stick out a little bit. So that also contributes to rolling over on her Pointe shoes when she's in a shorter Vamp. If we elongate the Vamp a little bit more, it's going to go past that knuckle and it's going to look a lot cleaner, it's a lot prettier, and it's actually better for your feet. So we're going to raise the Vamp past the knuckles here to make sure that her foot kind of stays inside of her shoes. Have you try on that shoe? And like I said, she really likes her shoes pretty tight, so you're gonna see her struggle to put the shoes on a little bit, but that's the way she likes it. So, and that's totally fine. If you have your preferences, some people like their shoes a little bit looser, which I don't recommend, and some people like their shoes a little bit tighter. She has to kind of like stuff her foot inside of her shoes to get it on, which is totally fine. I think it actually looks a lot better that way, and it's a lot more secure, and it's easier to articulate through your feet. So it's a pretty good place to be if you don't mind that. Also, she's wearing the lambswool toe pad. If you saw when she was putting on her shoes, the lambswool toe pad, it's not broken in yet. It's very fluffy and thick. So those actually shrink as you start to wear your shoes a little bit more. So if you start out with a shoe that feels comfortable and your toe pad keeps getting thinner and thinner, your shoes are probably going to feel too big later on. So it's probably a good thing that we're starting out with a shoe that is a little bit tighter. So the Vamp is a little bit longer. So I'm going to show you the different Vamp lengths. So if you can see, this Vamp is a lot longer than the Grishko that she's in right now. So that's something that we want to keep in mind for her for now and for the future for Olivia, because we want her knuckles to stay inside of her shoes and also so that she doesn't crunch her toes. Okay, so we elongated the Vamp and come down. And then if you see the platform, it's much bigger too. Okay, bring your left foot up on point, and then step up onto both. So it's breaking a lot higher, which is actually funny because this type of shoe actually breaks pretty low on a lot of people, but because we just elongated that vamp just a little bit, it's making her foot stay inside the shoe a little bit better. Can you cross it into fifth position? Okay, and she's like a point shoe fitter's dream because like she's not picky, everything feels good, she can balance, and she's not sickling, everything looks good. Beret a little bit. So she is a lot more stable, and she's actually in a much better place in terms of ankle alignment because now she's not scrunching her toes. And this is actually pretty useful for you if you are just getting on point and if you are scrunching your toes, or if you're too far back, if you're too far forward, then the vamp length, the top of your shoe, that makes a really big difference. Can you go into parallel for me one more time? Okay. So what we did for Olivia today is to elongate the vamp to keep her inside the shoe and to stop her from scrunching her toes and breaking too low. So we're forcing the shoe to break a little bit higher by raising the vamp. So if you have any problems with knuckling, or if you have any problems with your knuckles sticking out of your point shoes, if your shoes are breaking too low, then raising the vamp is probably going to be very helpful for you.